Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Mission Matters Business Podcast, your source for all things business. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres to keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, moneymatterstoptips.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today is a very special Reunion 2020 episode. What's that? That's when I bring on a guest that I had on in the past, and I liked them so much, I had to bring him right on back. So today's guest is Beau Berman, and he's content lead over at Toaster Party and also host of the Reporter podcast. Beau, welcome back to the show.
Hey, Adam, thanks for having me back. I had a great time the first time around, and excited to be back on the show with you.
All right, so we're going to get into this new podcast and a lot of new things you got going on. So I don't think the first time that we spoke you were with a Toaster Party. So let's just start there. Tell us a little bit more about Toaster Party and what you're doing as content lead.
Yeah, so joined on with Toaster Party right around the time we recorded that first episode. And I don't think I mentioned it, but basically it's an incredible up-and-coming startup, a tech company based out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, which is the city I'm from and currently live in. And so it's toasterparty.com, and their product is the Toaster Pets animation studio. So basically what this is you know how kids these days, whether you have kids of your own or if you have a niece or a nephew, and the parents, these 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds, hand them a tablet like an iPad or something, and kids now love watching YouTube. They watch cartoons on YouTube and all kinds of shows. It's almost become like the modern day pacifier. Your kid's crying, you hand them the tablet, and they watch YouTube for an hour, for better or worse. But in any case, kids, grow up with YouTube now and cartoons on there, and before you know it, they would love to have their own cartoon or have their own channel or be on YouTube themselves somehow. And what this product does is it quickly and seamlessly allows kids to express their creativity and actually create their very own cartoons. So it's a very high-tech product. It uses artificial intelligence, augmented reality, and machine learning to basically enable kids to take a tablet or take a phone even with the free app and then use the hardware that they can purchase to create their own cartoon. It's a very exciting product. The first time I saw it, I couldn't even believe it. It was almost like magic to me because basically you hold out these actual characters in front of your phone and it translates to the screen and it picks up the exact movements that you're using with the characters, right in front of your phone and projects them right onto the screen and, can record the whole thing and you can upload that to YouTube or Facebook or anywhere very easily. So I became instantly captivated by the product and wanted to become involved. And with my background as a news reporter for 11 years, it made sense for me to be the content lead and do some marketing for them. So I've been doing that for several months now, and I think it's been going well.
Man, that's awesome. What a cool thing. And you're right. So I see kids and they want to create their own stuff. And how fun is that? What kind of responses have you gotten from this? Because it's just a cool technology.
Yeah, the technology is really neat. And, it's just something very relevant, I think, that people are, really relating to because of how big YouTube is becoming and kids and video is always captivating. But, yeah, the response has been good. I was able to coordinate some interest from a local television station here in Pittsburgh. The NBC TV affiliate WPXI TV came on out and did a news report on Toaster Pets and Toaster Party that was on the news back in November. We've been featured on several podcasts now, where they interviewed the founder and CEO who's from Lebanon originally and is a graduate of Carnegie Mellon University here in Pittsburgh. So, yeah, it's been a pretty good response so far.
Let's get into your new podcast, so the Reporter podcast. Tell us a little bit more about it, please.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I have to say, a big thanks to you because I was partially inspired by what you're doing with your podcast. And, I think a lot of times people are afraid. They think, oh, God, they might hear the Joe Rogan podcast and it's 3 hours per episode sometimes. And they think, how am I going to fill that content, 3 hours? But the truth is, sometimes quantity, is important. And so what you can do is have shorter podcasts and episodes and, it's fun to talk to people and hear their perspective no matter who they are. And so basically, as I said, I was a news reporter and anchor for 11 years in 3 different states for a CBS, ABC, and Fox affiliate. And so I have a lot of connections that still exist in that world. And so I'm sort of leveraging those to reach out to the people in that industry and talk to them about what they think about the state of news and journalism and media. So the Reporter podcast, and it's spelled RPRTR, so short for reporter, basically features interviews that I conduct in conversations with current and former on-air news reporters, news anchors, meteorologists, et cetera, talking about, some of their stories from the trenches, some of their obstacles, their opinions, their thoughts on the world of journalism and the future of news as we know it. And it's been really fun to do. So far I have 17 episodes. It's all available on Apple Podcasts and Spotify Podcasts, as well as on the Podomatic platform. And so, the response has been good. And I think, it's kind of a snowball effect as people learn about it and start listening to it more. And funny, because at first I thought, okay, this is a little bit insider, a little bit in the weeds, and it's only going to be journalism people who want to listen to this. But what I quickly found out is that actually everyday people were interested in it because it's very rare that you get to hear the inside perspective from somebody who's on the news or in the media. So I'm excited for the potential it has.
What's one of your favorite stories that you have from doing the podcast? Because I know every episode's going to be different. Every thing, it just adds to so much to your body of content. Also, what's one that just sticks out where you're like, oh man, this is a great episode?
Yeah, absolutely. So, like I said, a lot of them I've been kind of leveraging my prior contacts. So they're people that I was friends with or knew from the industry or worked with. But I actually stumbled upon a great guest who was the guest on my last episode. His name is Stephen Fabian, and he's a reporter on Inside Edition. So, that's a nationally known syndicated show that's on all the major networks in prime time. It's also huge on YouTube, Inside Edition. And so Stephen came on the podcast, and what I love about it is that not only was it a great episode and probably the first national reporter that I had on the show, but also the way I found it was I was kind of just trolling through Instagram, and his profile came up, and I just messaged him on a whim because I noticed that he was from Pittsburgh, as am I, and he agreed to come on the show. So I kind of found him in a roundabout way, but, journalism world is kind of a small community. And I was very excited that he was willing to talk shop and discuss some things from his career that I found pretty fascinating as somebody who works for, a national media outlet, and just to sit down and hear what he had to say.
That's fantastic, man. I love it. And one of my favorite things about doing this podcast is really getting other people to start them, because I'm like, you don't have to make this thing complicated. Everybody has their own thing they want to talk about, their own niche. For example, you picked a very unique niche that really is native to you. So of course, it's no doubt to me that he would want to do an interview with you. So that's awesome. What has been one of your on the personal side of things, the most fulfilling things for you about launching this podcast? Because I think there's some people listening right now that they've always wanted to, they're thinking of, but they just haven't quite pulled the trigger, and you have. So I congratulate you on that. So maybe from hearing it from you might inspire them to kind of finally pull the trigger and launch that pod.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I had a lot of, fear, doubt, and uncertainty for the past couple of years, and I had kind of tried to start it in 2015 and then stopped. And so I finally launched it this fall, and I'm so happy that I did. And for people out there thinking about it, you got to do it. Take some weekend and go to a coffee shop and sit down and spend 2 straight days just researching it, looking into it, and don't stop whenever you hit an obstacle. You got to keep going, and you'll figure out a way to get it done. And you're right, it's not as complicated as it seems, and it is worth doing because there's thousands and really truly millions of listeners out there who might be interested in your topic. And even if you only have 1,000 people who are regular listeners, that's fine. That's really cool, and it's a good thing to do. And for me, it's been fun because I'm someone who, I have to admit, I get a rush when I go shopping. Like if I buy a new shirt or a new pair of shoes, I get this sort of dopamine hit, and it's really exciting. But what I found is that I also get that excitement whenever I create something, whenever I produce content that didn't exist in the world ever before, and it's really a bigger rush. And so I've really enjoyed that feeling of, feeling like I'm producing something important for the world that just truly didn't exist and wouldn't exist had I not done it at all. So that's been great. And, as I mentioned to you in the fall, this year is a year of kind of exploration for me. I was a news reporter for a long time, and I basically decided to take a 1-year break from that and try some other things, and most likely go back to being an on-air reporter whenever I move to New York State next year, or later this year, rather. But it's been a great experience, and I even had the chance to travel and go over to the Middle East for a little bit, and Abu Dhabi and Dubai and Singapore. And so it's just been an amazing year, and I encourage everybody out there to try to, take some chances, and don't always get too comfortable in your current career and your current situation.
Man, I love it. Well said and quite inspiring, Beau. I think you just probably inspired a couple new podcasts, so thank you for that. And I'm excited to hear more about you and your podcast going forward. That's awesome stuff. So, Beau, if somebody's listening to this and they want more information on Toaster Party or the Reporter podcast, what's the best way for them to follow up and to connect?
Yeah, absolutely. So for Toaster Party, I definitely encourage people to check out toasterparty.com. or toasterpets.com. Both URLs are great, and you can learn about the product there. And I've done a lot of video work for the company, so you'll see some of my videos, and just a really exciting product. If you have kids or are related to children, which most of us have children in our lives in some capacity, nieces, nephews, what have you. And so, yeah, toasterparty.com for that, or toasterpets at toasterpets on Twitter. And then in terms of the podcast, yeah, definitely encourage people to check it out. It's kind of surprising, some anecdotes from reporters, what you'll find. And that's available, like I said, if you go on Apple Podcasts and just type in, very simple, RPRTR and hit search, it'll come right up. Or if you go to Spotify, which I love, and same thing, type in RPRTR in the search window, it'll come right up. So very easy to access, and would be excited to have some more people check it out.
Fantastic. Well, hey, Beau, it's been awesome catching up with you on this reunion 2020 episode. Love to hear that. You got a new podcast going, all the great work you're doing over at Toaster Party, man. Great stuff. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. Leave me a review. If you're watching this on our YouTube channel, Mission Matters Business, be sure to give that a subscribe and leave us some comments in the comment section on the video. Love to hear what you're up to. And Beau, thanks again for coming on the show.